Delaware, a U.S. state with the official nickname, the First State, holds a unique position in American history and economy. Known as the chemical capital of the world, its economy heavily relies on chemical production, including pharmaceuticals, industrial chemicals, and plastics. If you've ever heard of DuPont de Nemours, one of the largest chemical companies globally, this corporate giant is headquartered and operates right here in Delaware. For decades, Delaware has been an attractive hub for major companies, primarily due to its low tax rates and business-friendly regulations. The third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, famously referred to Delaware as the Diamond State, likening it to a jewel among other states because of its strategic location along the eastern seaboard. Today, Delaware draws millions of visitors each year, with Rehoboth Beach offering breathtaking views of the Atlantic Ocean, serving as a popular summer destination. Since the 1920s, the state has been a favored retreat for Washington's elite. Now, it boasts a vibrant LGBTQ+ community alongside family-friendly attractions, making it a welcoming vacation spot for a diverse range of visitors. Despite the various nicknames attributed to Delaware, the second smallest state in the U.S., these accolades seem to lose significance when viewed against the backdrop of its ongoing homelessness crisis. In 2023, the Point in Time report recorded 1,245 homeless individuals in Delaware, a number that rose by 9% to 1,358 in 2024. Excluding the pandemic years, this marks the highest number ever recorded. Of these, approximately 800 are Black residents, nearly 360 are children and women, and more than 500 are aged 55 and older. In larger cities like Dover, the issue of homelessness is particularly stark and deeply felt. A grim combination of inflation, poverty, and a severe lack of affordable housing has left many in the state capital without a roof over their heads. Out of the total homeless population, 1,120 people have managed to find shelter, though often in overcrowded and resource-strapped facilities. The rest remain on the streets, unable to secure even temporary accommodations. The situation is further exacerbated by the prevalence of chronic homelessness. Individuals who have been without stable housing for extended periods, often years, and who repeatedly cycle through homelessness. Many of these individuals face complex challenges, including mental health disorders, physical disabilities, and addiction. Tragically, substance abuse among the homeless population is not uncommon and frequently leads to fatal outcomes, compounding the crisis beyond just economic hardships. Covering an area of just 6,454 square kilometers, Delaware is bordered by the Atlantic Ocean and divided into only 3 main counties: Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex, making it the state with the fewest counties in the U.S. Despite being one of the smallest states, Delaware faces disproportionately large challenges when it comes to drug abuse, addiction, and overdose. Statistics show that drug overdose deaths in the state's 3 primary counties have almost consistently risen from 2018 to 2022. In 2023, there was a slight 1.8% decrease in overdose deaths, with 527 fatalities compared to 537 the previous year. However, this modest decline does not overshadow the broader issue. In Delaware, more than 140,000 adults live with substance use disorders. The rise in fatal overdoses and substance abuse is particularly evident among Black, Hispanic, and homeless communities. While precise data is lacking, it is believed that drug consumption is widespread in areas where homeless populations gather. The Delaware National Guard, tasked by the state's Department of Health and Social Services to investigate the crisis, has highlighted a troubling mix of drugs fueling the epidemic. Synthetic opioids like fentanyl, animal tranquilizers such as xyloazine, bromazolum, and benzodiazepines, which act as sedatives, are identified as the primary culprits behind the state's severe addiction and overdose crisis. These potent substances, often mixed, have pushed Delaware into a critical point where addiction and its consequences affect communities across all demographics. As the second smallest state in the U.S., Delaware is often regarded as a peaceful and safe place to live. Known for its tax-free status, charming suburbs, and beautiful parks, the state does enjoy a reputation for tranquility. However, Delaware is not entirely immune to crime. In 2021, a total of 69,595 serious crimes were reported, including 17,333 violent offenses. When adjusted for the population of 998,488 that year, Delaware had a crime rate of approximately 69.7 per 1,000 residents, an alarmingly high figure compared to other states across the U.S. Wilmington, the hometown of the 46th U.S. President Joe Biden, stands out as the most dangerous city in Delaware. Despite being home to historic landmarks like Old Swedes Church, one of the oldest churches in America, Wilmington recorded 3,899 criminal incidents annually. This included 2,993 property crimes and 96 violent offenses. On average, the city experiences 54.48 crimes per 1,000 residents, making it the most crime-ridden city in the state. Common crimes in Wilmington include assault, theft, vandalism, drug-related offenses, and fraud. The prevalence of these activities underscores the city's struggle with maintaining safety, particularly in certain neighborhoods, even as Delaware as a whole strives to project an image of serenity and security. In January 2018, as part of efforts to combat human trafficking, Delaware law enforcement arrested 44 individuals connected to prostitution in New Castle County. Among those apprehended, 29 were charged with engaging in prostitution, 12 were accused of soliciting sex workers, and 2 were fugitives from other states. Police reported that some women traveled to Delaware solely for prostitution, reflecting the troubling prevalence of human trafficking in the Diamond State. Despite clear laws against it, prostitution remains a visible issue in Delaware. In major areas like Maryland Avenue, New Castle Avenue, DuPont Highway in Wilmington, and parts of New Castle, sex workers can often be seen soliciting drivers who stop along these routes. Many conduct their work in low-cost motels lining the highways, while their pimps monitor the activities nearby. A significant number of these sex workers are forced into the trade, often starting as minors under the age of 18. Broken family situations push them to abandon their homes and dreams, leading to lives of solitude on the streets, sometimes facing homelessness. They risk their lives daily, taking on as many clients as possible, often just to afford a meal, sustain their drug dependencies, or avoid physical violence from their pimps. For some, prostitution is a means of survival in the absence of other viable options. While many turn to this life due to addiction, others simply have no alternative to sustain themselves. What remains evident is that women involved in prostitution, whether trafficked or not, almost always carry deep-seated trauma or personal struggles that are challenging to heal. The cycle of exploitation they endure highlights the urgent need for comprehensive support and systemic change to address the root causes of this issue. Climate change continues to escalate worldwide, and in the United States, its effects will manifest unevenly across different regions. Some areas may experience extreme heat, increased flooding, more volatile weather patterns, rampant wildfires, or a combination of these threats. A study by Moody's Analytics assessing climate risks in the U.S. ranked states based on their vulnerability to acute physical risks, including weather-related events, storms, floods, and wildfires. Delaware ranked as the 5th most at-risk state, highlighting its heightened exposure to climate-related disasters due to its geography and coastal positioning. In addition to its environmental challenges, Delaware is also home to some quirky laws that may seem unusual to outsiders. One of the most notable is the Delaware Blue Laws, a historical set of regulations that governed what activities were prohibited on sunny days. These included bans on horse racing, hunting, except for fox hunting with hounds, adult entertainment venues, the use of gill nets for fishing, and restrictions limiting alcohol sales to between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. on Sundays. There is also a law prohibiting drive-in theaters from screening films with an R rating or higher. Pawn shops, interestingly, are forbidden from accepting prosthetic limbs or wheelchairs as collateral. Meanwhile, on the state's famous beaches, as Rehoboth Beach, women above the age of 5 are not allowed to wear topless swimsuits, a regulation that stands out even in Western norms regarding public decency. Lastly, Delaware's strict alcohol regulations extend to its dance venues. Serving alcoholic beverages is prohibited in dance halls or clubs, meaning those hoping to combine dancing with a drink may need to reconsider if Delaware is the right fit for them. With a population that represents just 3% of the total U.S. population, Delaware offers a unique blend of strict historical laws, scenic charm, and growing environmental challenges.